Hey everybody, from a still foggy Nova Scotia day. Now this here talk here is on espalier pears. What's the opposite of an expert in espalier pears? Because whatever the opposite is, I guess a beginner, a novice, whatever, that's what I am. So I don't know a whole lot about it, but I thought I'd make a nice espalier row. If you see, I put in 5 pears and I put in a row of posts and wires. Now the only thing this video is about is just kind of what I learned from doing this. I set these pear trees originally 10 feet apart from one another. On hindsight, if I had to do it again, I'd put the trees probably 12 feet apart from one another. And what that would have done is give me 6 feet from the tree to the post. And I think in the future, once those trees fill out and get a little bigger, I think it would have been a wiser spacing. And if I ever have to do it again, I'll make sure the trees are at about a 12-foot spacing. So that's one thing I learned. The other thing I learned is when you place your bottom wire, I put 4 wires on that system, which I think is going to work fine. But when you place your bottom wire, make sure your bottom wire is tall enough that the lawnmower fits under it. So you have a bit of room to work. You want that bottom row of limbs not too close to the ground, just for funguses and moisture and all that sort of stuff. And now I didn't measure that bottom wire to fit the lawnmower. By fluke, luck, whatever, it happened to be high enough that the lawnmower goes underneath it pretty slick. And like I said, I guess better good luck than good management it was. But that's another thing. When you place your bottom wire, don't put your bottom wire too low. Have it up high enough that you can mow and work in underneath of it. Give yourself a little room that way. What else do I know about the espalier? This here is probably the most typical one that I read out of the book. When I got that from the nursery, it had 2 nice limbs across from one another on the bottom, and then you were supposed to take your pruners on planting time and head it back by the second wire. And you can see this one here, it grew up. I have one main leader that grew up past that wire that I'll trim back to a central leader and 2 side shoots, and then I have 2 limbs started here. Now if you see right here, mistakes as well as good things. If you see that yellow stuff, that's a little Doc Farewell's grafting seal. Don't try to bend the limb down before it's browned out and mature. When they're young and they're still green, they're tender and they snap off some easy. And I tried to bow that one down way too early, and it started cracking, so I put a little Doc Farewell's onto it, and that helped seal it up, and it seemed to have saved the limb. So I'm just going to leave it there and let it harden up some, and I'll bend her down slowly. This is probably my best growing one out of the bunch. They don't all work out ideal. I have a nice limb going out here, no limb on that side. I'm hoping next spring I can find one that'll go that way. These 2 ones here were a little higher than the wire, but I think it'll work out. These 2 here, I would have preferred to have this limb come out of this side of the tree, out of here instead of out of here. I had no choice, that's the way it grew. So I run one that way, one that way. If by some fluke there's another one, a limb or something that grows from up here somewhere this next summer, I'll trim that one off and I'll let that one grow and go. Other than that, it put on great growth this summer. I'll trim the top off and see if I can't get 2 limbs going either way on the top wire, and that's probably my best growing one. In here I have a couple of Bosch pears, red clap pears, and a green one called, I don't even know how to pronounce it, green trees.and or something like that. Don't ask me. A lot of a lot of pears are French in origin, and I have no French in my origin. So there's a little bit that I've learnt this summer from espalier pears. Oh, they're a little close from the tree there to the post. Those two posts I plan on building an arch in there next spring, and I'm going to take the 4 limbs from that side of the red clap and try to grow them up over the arch. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, have a great one, everybody. One more thing. The beauty of the pears is that's about as much room as you need in width. When these all fill out and leaf out, they probably won't take up more than 2 feet in width. So if you have a long, narrow space that you want to be able to grow some fruit in, that you can walk right up and pick off of, you can see if I walk across there's 5 trees in that row, and they're not going to take up more than 2 feet in width. So if you have a piece that grows along a fence, or if you have a piece, I don't know, there's a long narrow strip, it's not a bad method to grow them. And I'm picturing, whether this works or not, but I'm picturing coming out here in the fall and just being able to walk down the row and pick the pears off. That'd be pretty cool if it works. Have a great one.